I'm Starborn. Remember to be a star. You have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And we're talking about a lot of light on today's show because today we are having a fabulous full moon lunar eclipse at 26 degrees of Pisces. And that's why the title of tonight's show is Passing the Baton. Because we know that in some sort of a relay race, one runner can be holding the baton in their hand, and when they're done with their segment, they pass that baton to someone else who's going to continue on. And that's what's going to be happening under this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. First of all, lunar eclipse means that one woman goes and another woman comes sometime in the duration of the eclipse's effect, which is 6 months. And that is because the moon is being eclipsed and the moon rules women. But there's definite change going on that can be attributed to the fact that 7 of the 10 planets are all in the last decans of their sign. And so they are definitely changing signs sometime that's coming up. And that by itself indicates that there's going to be change. But Pisces is a double-bodied sign, where the full moon lunar eclipse is hitting right now. And that means that there can be things going on behind the scenes. That's what Pisces rules. But it also rules charity. And it rules forgiveness. And it rules illusion, because it rules photography. And it rules dreams. And it rules the ability to rise above some of the worst things that could happen to you or to humanity. And get over that. Because Pisces rules the 12th house of limitations, of the things that you're a little bit afraid of and don't want to show or talk to about anybody else or with anyone else. And it can rule your doubts and your fears, and it can also rule, since Pisces is a double-bodied sign, depicted by the 2 fish, one fish which is aiming pretty high to do their best, and the other fish which is going pretty low. And so they could be going sort of down into the mud. And Pisces does rule escape. And that can be escape in the form of alcoholism, drug addiction, or sexual promiscuity. So that's not the right way to go, not if you want to be happy. And the idea of passing the baton has to do with the fact that there are a lot of planets in the water signs, and Pisces is a water sign. So today, Saturn is in Pisces at 15 degrees, and it's retrograde. And then the full moon that we're talking about that's happening today, the eclipse, is at 26 degrees of Pisces, and it is exactly closely conjuncting Neptune, the ruler of the sign in Pisces, which is retrograde, at the 29th degree of fate. And so these 3 planets in Pisces are being trined by a 4th planet, so they have backup, because Mars is now in Cancer. And Cancer is another water sign. It generally rules the 4th house of home, last half of life, our families, residential real estate, the whole food and agricultural business, and mining as well. And so the water signs rule our emotions. And so this eclipse, it can involve not just one woman going and another one coming, but it could be 2 women that are going and 2 women that are coming, because Pisces is a double-bodied sign. And so that is something that we can be looking forward to, either right now or in the next 6 months. And that is because of these 7 planets that are denoting positively that there is going to be change. And let me go through what they are, because they are all in the last decan of their signs, sub-ruled by some other planet. And so it's not quite as easy as you think. These changes could be occurring at a big level, or an obvious level, or one that isn't so obvious, but it could still be occurring. The first one is that both Neptune and the moon in Pisces today, under the total lunar eclipse, or it's not a total lunar eclipse, but it's a lunar eclipse, are in the last decan of Pisces, which is sub-ruled by Mars and Pluto. The Mars and Pluto that rule Scorpio, another fixed sign, which is a water sign, ruling justice and survival. The next planet, the third planet, is Uranus in Taurus. It's at 27 degrees today, and it too is retrograde. And since it's in the last decan of Taurus, that planet, which is a malefic planet, just the way Saturn is and Mars are, Uranus is being sub-ruled by Saturn, the Saturn that rules Capricorn. The Saturn and the sign of Capricorn rule your 10th house of career and your public reputation and your long-term rewards or your retirement plans. So let's keep in mind that those things are being considered as well. And then ahead of that is Jupiter in Gemini. It has now reached the 21st degree of Gemini, which is the last decan, and the last decan of Gemini is sub-ruled by Uranus, the Uranus that rules Aquarius, the sign of the future. And Jupiter is a very good planet. So it has something to do with people's future too, and perhaps the enlargement of their future plans. That would be great. And then the next planet that is in the last decan of their sign is the Sun, which is in exact opposition, since a full moon, it's in exact opposition to the moon in Pisces. So the Sun is at 26 degrees of Virgo today. And the last decan that Sun is ruled by in Virgo is Mercury. But it's Venus, I'm sorry. It's the Venus that rules Taurus. So there could be some good news about your health, or there could be some good news about healthcare matters, or the cost of them in some way, or just your investments in healthcare companies. So that could be pretty good. And then the next planet that is also at the last degree of, or in the last decan of their signs, is Pluto. And Pluto is it's the next one, and the sixth planet is Venus. And Venus is in Libra, but it's at 24 degrees of Libra. And that's in the last decan of Libra, which is sub-ruled by the Mercury that rules Gemini. And so it's a different kind of Mercury. Mercury rules two signs, Gemini and Virgo. But this Venus in Libra, which is at home in the sign it rules, so it's very strong, is being sub-ruled by the Mercury that rules Gemini. And Gemini rules easy transitional change and part-time or temporary efforts and youth, and it rules a lot of enthusiasm, and it rules change, easy transitional change. And that's Venus that's in that last decan, so you have to keep that in mind. And then the seventh planet is Pluto, which is in Capricorn, and it is in Capricorn at the 29th degree of Fate. And that last decan of Capricorn is actually sub-ruled by Mercury, but it's the Mercury that rules Virgo. And Virgo rules analysis. And once again, it rules your health, but it is a good problem-solving sign. And so these planets that are all getting ready to change signs, 7 of them, and at different speeds and at different times, but they're leaving, indicate change is coming. It's 7 out of the 10. Do you have a 70% chance of change coming into your life? You sure do, even without a lunar eclipse. But you add the lunar eclipse. And the thing that is so powerful about this eclipse in Pisces at 26 degrees is that it is conjuncting the ruler of the sign, Neptune, at the 29th degree of Fate. And that's why, if you can think of somewhere in your life where the baton can be getting passed to someone else, or perhaps to you from someone else, you would probably be on the right track. And the reason why is that you have to ask yourself, what kind of baton is it that would be getting passed from one person or one organization or one entity to another? And it is the baton of responsibility. Okay? So that means that somewhere in all of our lives, at one level or another, either personally or professionally, the baton of responsibility is getting passed now. And it's getting passed to someone else that could be a woman. And there could be two of those things happening, because Pisces is a double-bodied sign. So what are the characteristics of the person that's going to be getting that baton of responsibility? in order to understand the characteristics, the person is a pretty solid citizen, but to understand a little bit more clearly what they're like, you would have to look at where the other planets are being placed today during the lunar eclipse. And there are 6 planets in the mutable signs that are all in a harsh T-cross. So we have to look at that because those qualities can somewhat describe, they're involved in what kind of person is getting this baton of responsibility being passed to them. And so we can see right away that the Sun and Mercury, which is at home in the sign it rules, are in Virgo, and they are opposing 3 other planets in Pisces. Saturn, which is retrograde, and then the full moon, lunar eclipse at 26 degrees of Pisces, and then Neptune itself, the ruler of the sign, at the 29th degree of Pisces. And so these 5 planets, the 3 in Pisces and the 2 in Virgo, are all being squared by Jupiter at 21 degrees of Gemini. Remember, Gemini rules change, and it rules communication. And so we have to take the characteristics of so many planets in these mutable signs and ask ourselves, well, what kind of person is going to get that baton? Well, first of all, I think that it's going to be a person who does not seek the limelight very much. And they could be a solid citizen that has won awards and kudos for their own work, but the type of work that they would do could be done, they could enjoy doing that in a solitary way. Even if they were a member of a bigger team, they would enjoy doing their work themselves and somewhat behind the scenes. Remember, that's Pisces, that's where the lunar eclipse is, and Pisces rules things behind the scenes. So this person could be a person who can be very talented, but they are still a little bit withdrawn and perhaps a little publicity shy. Remember that Jupiter in Gemini is squaring Pisces, and Gemini rules publicity. So they could be publicity shy, and they could be someone that likes to work by themselves or in solitude, and they could have jobs that would promote that kind of talent, such as working in medical research, because that can involve individual solitary efforts, even if they're part of a big research team. And then they could also be working on charity projects. Pisces rules charity. Or they could be working in any kind of a field where they can display acts of compassion and understanding for others. And so they are a person, the one who's getting the baton, or 2 people that are getting the baton of responsibility that's getting passed to them, either now or sometime in the next 6 months. They are a person that is likes to work without fanfare. Even if they are doing outstanding work and get some sort of acknowledgement of that, they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it because it needs to be done, and that they want to make sure that they can do things very, very well. Their standards are pretty high. And so this is simply a time when somebody who's going to have the baton of responsibility passed to them probably really deserves it, but they're not a big famous name. They might have some sort of notoriety at the local level or within their own field of endeavor, but they're not out for the publicity. They're not out for the fanfare. They don't want to be number one. They're somebody who really thinks, okay, this is necessary work, and I want to help. So that's their motive. So even if the person who's passing, or the entity or the company that is passing the baton on to this person had a prior person who was on the national scene or was wanting to be acknowledged for being a big leader, times change. And so now it's time for that person who has held the baton for a while to pass it to another person, or this can happen twice now, to 2 people, that is the baton of responsibility for things that are going forward. In other words, for the future. For somebody who can handle things in the future and be a good problem solver. And perhaps work without fanfare. And at the same time, this person can have a youthful attitude and be very versatile and able to make changes or even work on more than one project at the same time. So they can juggle their, excuse me, their work life, their home life, their personal life, and still handle it all. Excuse me. And that's because we have two fantastic planets, the two best planets in the heavens today, in almost exact trine to each other, both in the last decans of their signs, as I mentioned, because one of them is Venus at 24 degrees of Libra, and Libra rules partnership, and it rules the law, and it rules peacemaking and compromise. And that Venus at 24 degrees is exactly, almost exactly, trining Jupiter in Gemini at 21 degrees. And so this almost perfect trine between the two best planets in the heavens, Venus and Jupiter, which would indicate someone with a rather optimistic attitude who is partnership oriented but prefers to sort of work in the background and prefers to just keep doing their job. And it's because they're not doing it. They're not doing it for the rewards, and they're not doing it for the fame and fortune. They're doing it because it needs to be done. And they want to be a part, perhaps, of solving big problems, even if they can only do it in a small way. But I think they're pretty good at that, or it may be that they want to do it on their own terms. Venus trining Jupiter is an indication of somebody who's got a youthful attitude, though, because Gemini rules youth, and at the same time they have the ability to get along with a lot of people because Venus in Libra is trining that Jupiter. So that is why, if you were to ask what kind of person, or a couple of people who could be women, what kind of person is going to be handed the baton of responsibility now? And I think that you could describe this person, whether they're young, old, or in between, you could describe them as an angel. An angel who is here to solve problems with compassion and understanding of others for the good of all. And they want to do it without fanfare. That's fine with them. They just want to see it gets done. They're not after the glory. They're after getting the job done or helping with compassion and understanding. Because those are qualities of Pisces too. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. Well, you Aries have got that lunar eclipse today right behind your sun sign. So there's definitely change going on behind the scenes. And that is because there's 3 planets in Pisces right behind your sun sign. And they're really being activated, not only because the lunar eclipse is there, but there are 6 planets in the mutable signs all squaring and opposing each other, which means in the background of your life, Aries, I would say things are perhaps not going smoothly, but it doesn't mean they're going badly. It simply means there's definite change. And I would describe the change that is happening behind the scenes in your life right now, Aries, as a change that will bring you a sense of relief. In other words, Aries sort of like to be number one, and they like to be out in front, and it's the sign of the pioneer, so you like making new starts. But it may be, in this time of your life, regardless of where you are, it may be that the changes that are happening behind the scenes under this total lunar eclipse in Pisces that is magnificently fortified, it may be that there is going to be a change behind the scenes that you're ready for. That it's going to be an ending, because Neptune's at the 29th degree of fate, and any planet at the 29th degree of fate means something's on or over. And it's going to be an ending that I think is just, it was an ending to something that has become too much for you. And that's why I think you're going to have a sense of relief. And in that sense, yes, something is sort of passing you by, or something could be ending, but since your sign rules new beginnings, that may not bother you at all. This would be a very good time for you to get some rest, Aries. Sort of R&R, rest and recover from something. so that you can decide at your own leisure and on your own terms. You can decide what to do next. And it will be because the baton is being passed somewhere in your life to someone else. And I think that it's going to say, okay, that's fine, I'm relieved. And you may not feel that way today, but I think that's how you're going to feel. Give yourself a week, Aries. That is how you're going to feel, relieved. And so this is a time when you can see yourself in sort of a new light, because the moon is going to come into your sign next. And you will be able to see your future in a better light, one that suits you better now. So congratulations on that. Even if there is an ending, it's going to give you a sense of relief, and it's probably going to allow you to get a little bit more rest. And then, Aries is a go-getter fire sign. You'll be off and doing something else, but a little bit more on your own terms. And I think you'll like that. So good luck. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, Uranus is at the 27th degree in your sign, being subruled by Saturn, the Saturn that rules Capricorn, which rules your 10th house of career, your public reputation, and your retirement plans. And so this is a time, Taurus, then you really do need to think just about whatever you are contemplating going forward. And so the focus should be just on what you want to do. Now, the Sun and Mercury in Virgo are trining your Sun, and Pluto in Capricorn are also trining your Sun, just like last week. And so since there is a trine, a grand trine in the earth signs, you need to think very practically about where you are today and how you want to end up in your future. And I would tend to just concentrate on that. In other words, focusing in upon your own needs or your own stamina, your own level of energy, your own level of enthusiasm and determination. Maybe they're not what they used to be, but why should they? Why should they be? A Taurus generally is pretty successful right in the start of their work life because they're such hard workers. And it doesn't mean they get everything they want right away, but a Taurus can stick with it and achieve a lot of things. And if you've already done that in your life, Taurus, you don't need to rinse and repeat. You could be pretty satisfied with what you've accomplished in your life, and at this time in your life, at whatever level of energy that you're at, or whatever level your career is at, you may be deciding actually to step back or downsize and still be fine. I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to be financially threatened. There's a grand trine in earth signs. You shouldn't be. But on the other hand, this may not be a good time for you to take on additional responsibilities. If somebody's trying to pass the baton to you, I'd think twice, Taurus. And the reason why is that it may not fulfill you. Because it's because of your own success, the success you've already had. We can only get so much, and then we're full. And a Taurus likes to sort of sit back and enjoy their success. They don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. And if you've reached a point where you can sit back and enjoy yourself, Taurus, I suggest you do that, because there could be other problems that you really need to concentrate on that are more personal to you, such as your health. You really, we all get a little older as time goes on, and maybe you need to make some adjustments to increase your health in a way that's good for you and creates less pressure in your life. And so I think that this is a very good time for you to sort of forgive and forget the way you used to drive yourself really hard, and think, because Pisces rules forgiveness, and maybe just concentrate a little bit more on slowing down and enjoying the fruits of your labor. Why shouldn't you? And isn't that what you were working for all your life for anyway? It doesn't matter what age you're at. Isn't that what you're working for, Taurus? You might not have to keep working. Maybe this is the time to just find a way to sort of optimize your health and optimize your long-term security, and that would come by you knowing how to handle your own affairs. If that's what made your success, then don't give up on that. Just keep handling your own affairs, and I think you'll do fine. And you might be with a lot less pressure now, and I think you would enjoy that. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, you have Jupiter in your sign at 21 degrees. Yes, it is a mutable sign. Okay, so Saturn today and the full moon lunar eclipse at 26 degrees of Pisces and Neptune at the 29th degree of Fate, and these two are tightly conjuncting. They're sort of a double whammy right now, are squaring Jupiter in your sign because Jupiter's at 21 and they're within a 7-degree exact square. And then the Sun is at 26 degrees in Virgo. That too is within a 7-degree square of Jupiter in your sign at 21 degrees. And then Mercury is at 15 degrees in Virgo today, and it's the ruler of the sign. So Gemini, you are at a turning point, or you are in a position where you either have to decide to pass the baton to somebody else, or they may decide to offer it to you. Because you do have Jupiter in your sign, and that always indicates expansion. And so you may decide to take on a new partner or to improve a partnership, or to do something legal that you could win right now. And the reason why is that despite the T-cross going on in mutable signs, you have Venus in Libra trining that Jupiter in your sign almost exactly. It's a tight trine. Venus is at 24 degrees of Libra. Jupiter in your sign is at 21 degrees. They're both direct. There's nothing stopping you there, Gemini. And so if you want to go forward on a matter of law, I think you can do that. If you decide that this is time for you to make some easy transitional change, I think it would be based on the element of fairness, because Venus rules fairness and balance, as well as partnership and beauty and compromise and the law. And so you may even be deciding to take it a little easier in your life in one way or another. And oddly enough, that would tend to expand your life in some way. So your sign rules easy transitional change. You are certainly aspected for one, particularly since Jupiter is in that last decan in your sign, which is sub-ruled by Uranus in Aquarius, which rules the future. So you are going to perhaps suddenly decide to make a change that will benefit you in your future. And whether it is that you take on some part-time effort or part-time project, that could work out fine. If you decide to make some sort of a move, your sign rules neighborhoods, so you could do that easily as well. And if you were working in a partnership, or the baton of responsibility gets passed to you by a new partner, you're going to do just fine. You couldn't ask for a better thing than a Venus-Jupiter trine, Gemini, and it's hitting you. Don't worry about the indecision of others around you. Stay out of it. It will drag you down, and you don't need to be dragged down. You have Jupiter in your sign. Look forward, Gemini, to your future, because it's going to be a good one. And if the baton of some kind of responsibility gets passed to you in one way or another, you will handle it quite well. And you may be able to do it just on a part-time basis, and you can do it on your own terms as well. There could be a wonderful partner headed your way, or a very tempting offer that I advise you not to turn down. Say yes, and good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, with Mars in your sign, that you can say, oh, things are getting stirred up right now. Well, they could be, because Mars is a malefic planet. It's not happy in a sign ruled by the gentle moon. But Mars in your sign has tremendous backup, and that means you have tremendous backup, Cancer. And that is because today's lunar eclipse in Pisces has 3 planets in it, and they are all trining your sun and that Mars in your sign. Something that you're troubled by right now, Cancer, is going to work out much better than you think it will. And so this actual meaning of the lunar eclipse in Pisces with Saturn there means that something that is meant to be is going to happen at last. After a long delay, something that is meant to be will happen at last. And it's going to benefit you, Cancer and Scorpio, because there's 4 planets in water signs. They all trine Scorpio, and those 3 in Pisces all trine your sign. And so you're going to be able to see the real truth about people or activities or even a dream of yours. You're going to see the real truth about that behind the scenes, because it's going to come out. There's tremendous light with the full moon conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. And something that's been a long time coming, which could be a dream or an ambition that had been delayed for a long time, that's coming too, because Saturn rules delay, but it's trining your sun. And Mars is going to give you the energy. You know, it might be you, Cancer, that gets the baton of responsibility passed to you. And lucky that Mars is in your sign, because you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and get to work. But boy, do you have backing with those 3 planets under one of the best lunar eclipses that's ever going to occur. Because Pisces rules rising above your problems and your troubles. Sure, it rules escape, but the full moon and Neptune are way at the end of Pisces. It's not the time when people can escape. It's the time when they need to turn around and face their highest hopes, or their greatest needs, or having the idea of compassion and understanding for others. I just think that if you are past the baton of responsibility, you'll certainly be able to handle it well, Cancer. You'll have the energy for it. And there's something, you know, Mars is a planet that's got a lot of drive to it. And it also rules anger and aggression and greed. What's it in your sign? Your sign, Cancer, actually rules endings. And it rules the 4th house of home, the last half of life, and endings. And so, since Neptune is at the 29th degree of fate, and the full moon lunar eclipse is conjuncting it, there can be perhaps 2 endings in your life, Cancer. And they would result in something that is meant to be after a very long delay. And that, whatever's meant to be, could be a dream of yours, or an ambition of yours that you've had for a very long time. Long time. Saturn takes 28 to 30 years to get around. It is trining your sun for the last year, and it's going to continue to trine your sun. Saturn's not leaving Pisces, but the full moon and Neptune are. And so this is a time for you to face your highest hopes and your best dreams, and realize that you are probably going to have the opportunity in one way or another to take that baton of responsibility that can be passed to you and do something very constructive with it, and have enough energy to do it. So this isn't the time to take a vacation, Cancer. I'm sorry to say, I think that this is the time to get to work. But you're going to have wonderful backing. And the reason why I think it'll make you happy is because there is certainly the possibility that through change, there's 7 planets all at the end of their signs. Okay, there's definitely going to be change for everybody. But through change and the tremendous support that this almost magical full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces is giving you, Cancer, you will have the energy because Mars is in your sign. But these malefic planets, Saturn and Mars, they're trining each other. They're working for you, not against you. Uranus is in Taurus, and whatever planet is in Taurus always sextiles the sign of Cancer. So Uranus, the 3rd malefic planet, is sextiling that Mars as well. You're not going to get hurt by change. You aren't even going to get hurt by more hard work, Cancer. I think you're going to love it, particularly if a dream comes true for you at last. And it looks like it's going to happen. Possibly 2 of them. So good luck. And I'd eat my Cheerios if I were you, Cancer. You're going to be pretty busy. And maybe it's because your fondest dream is coming your way after a very long delay. And the one outstanding characteristic of it is that it was meant to be. And it's not anything obvious. It doesn't have anything to do with publicity, fanfare, people who want to be in the spotlight all the time. No. Remember what kind of person is this lunar eclipse involves. The one who's there with passion and understanding, an angel. They could be coming your way now, Cancer, and could make you very happy. So good luck. All right, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time, Leo, that I think that since there aren't any planets in the fire signs, that you can take a breather right now, and I think you're looking forward to that, Leo. And the reason why is that there's so much change going around everywhere, and there certainly is going to be a baton passed to one or two other people, since Pisces is a double-bodied sign, that will result in relief, I think, for some people, and certainly the ability to sort of look forward and do things that are not so pressured. And you know, Leo likes to be captain of the team. Leo likes to be the leader. They like to be out in front. How much energy do you want to spend on that, Leo, for the rest of your life? You got to sort of be thinking about what can make you comfortable. Because we don't always have the energy that we used to have. And maybe you've already paid your dues. Maybe you've already done a whole lot of things that, you know, took a lot of work and put you in the spotlight, but that could have worn thin after a while, because nobody has 100% energy all the time. And, you know, even a leader, if the team quits, what good is the leader? They don't have anybody to lead. And so you may be wanting to change your role in life or your definition of who you want to be in the future. This is a very good idea for you to be thinking about right now, Leo, because although Pluto has moved out of Aquarius, where it was opposing your sun, and into Capricorn, it's not staying there. By the middle of November, it will be back opposing your sun sign, probably for at least 17 to 20 years. And at the same time that Pluto goes back into Aquarius in November, Uranus and Taurus is still going to be squaring your sun for another year. You know, that sets up resistance in the fixed signs again. And so it's coming right up. And so if there is an opportunity for you to make an easy transitional change, or to compromise on some sort of legal negotiation, or even change partnerships, or maybe just rest a little bit more, Leo, I would do that if I were you. Because the rest of the world is changing, and you can't change it back. There's too many planets that are all at the end of in the last decans of their signs, 7 of them. And so there's going to be change, and if this might be a better time for you, Leo, to rest up a little bit and prepare yourself for whatever kind of change you feel you can handle well at this time in your life. And this is an excellent time to be thinking about that, and to be thinking about how you can afford it. Whatever you want to do going forward, Leo, I guarantee it's you that's going to have to afford it. And so you need to just think about, you know, practical things right now. The state of your health, the state of your budget, the state of your energy level, the state of your different interests, and how many of those that you still want to contribute to. It may not be as many as you used to do, simply because your energy level could be a little bit lower. And perhaps due to a health condition, perhaps even due to 2 health conditions. And so this is a better time for you to withdraw, Leo, safely and nicely, and just get a little bit more rest and think a little bit more. What I'm suggesting, Leo, is that you give yourself a break. You would have perhaps, it could be well deserved. You could have spent a great deal of your time trying to be captain of the team and doing a great job. But this is a better time to give yourself a break in light of the fact that there's going to be change and nobody's going to be able to stop it. Not with 7 planets all about to change. Now at different speeds and at different times. But they're going to do it. And you need to adapt to change. This is not something fixed signs like to do at all, but they need to do it now before it gets more threatening. So take a vacation, Leo, and talk to yourself a little bit about how much time and energy you want to spend going forward. I guarantee you it's not going to be as much as you used to spend, but it could make you happier. It really could. So good luck. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time, Virgo, when you can really have your mind on a whole lot of things that are very important to you. Your sign rules analysis. And so the sun is in your sign at 26 degrees, and it is exactly opposing the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, also at 26 degrees. But Mercury, your own ruler, is in your sign as well, Virgo. That's why I think you really got your head on, and you can think pretty clearly right now, and you can go over your figures over and over again, and they would be making a lot of sense to you right now. But that does not mean that we're all stuck in some solid position right now. We all have to adapt to change around us and to us. And particularly you, Virgo, because although there is a grand trine in the earth signs right now, it won't last beyond November because, well, it won't even last after the sun leaves your sign, which it's about to do. It's at 26 degrees already. It's going into Libra. But the sun and Mercury in your sign opposing Saturn. Okay, Mercury's at 15 degrees in your sign. Saturn is at 16 degrees and retrograde in Pisces. They're coming head to head. And then the sun in your sign is exactly at the same degree as the full moon lunar eclipse, both at 26 degrees. They're coming head to head, and you're facing the opposition from Neptune, which is conjuncting that full moon as well. And so Virgo and Jupiter in Gemini is squaring your sign. Virgo, you're sure not going to get everything that you want right now, even though there is a grand trine in earth signs. So let me describe some of the things you are going to get. You certainly can be in a better position financially. And you can be going over your figures and your facts and your budget and the costs of your future plans. And you could be modifying your future plans to fit a budget that you think is better for you at this time in your life. Okay, if it's a smaller budget, then your future plans are going to have to downsize a little bit to fit the budget. But Virgos are very good about being practical and analyzing facts and figures. And since your sign rules health, you're very good at taking care of your health. And if you have not been taking care of your health as much as you should have, this is an excellent time to turn over a new leaf. And I think somewhere in your life you're going to have to do that, Virgo. And the reason why, or at least Virgo rules efficiency. It rules time management. And Virgos are very good at that. But look at what's opposing your sun sign and squaring your sun sign right now. You know, you're not going to have everything your own way, Virgo, even though there is a grand trine in the earth signs. That means that if you are working with facts and figures, they are going to add up fine. Excuse me. But if you're thinking about your dreams, and if you're looking behind the scenes at the way people really are instead of the way you wish they were, you could get your eyes open right now, and you might not like what you see. And if you were thinking that you can go on doing the same things that you used to do in your life when you were younger, I don't think so, Virgo, because Jupiter in Gemini, which rules youth, is squaring your sun and Mercury. So you will have to, I think, adapt to conditions that exist in your life today. And that means that you almost have to pull back the curtain of illusion and see people and situations and even your own age and energy level in a clearer light right now. And one way to do that successfully, Virgo, is to ask yourself a question in reverse. Don't ask yourself what you can live with. Ask yourself what you know you can't live with, and face it. You could be much happier within the parameters of what you cannot live with, because what's left? What's left is everything you can live with. But you have to be more honest with things that you can't tolerate anymore, or you can't live with, or which are bad for your health, or which represent a bubble that has burst. You have to face all that right now, Virgo. There's no way to get out of it. This full moon lunar eclipse means one woman goes and another woman comes. But because it's in Pisces and it's so powerful, it could mean that 2 women go and 2 women come. Fine. But you have to face it first. And the best way to do it is just be real honest with yourself and say, what can I not live with? You know, a dream could be great because it is a dream. But could you really live with it? You have to ask yourself that, honestly. And I think that you will be much happier because Virgos are practical people. So I think you'll be much happier if you just say, what can I not live with right now? And face it and accept it and do something about it. You know, there's going to be an ending, Virgo. And I think it's going to be for the better. I think it's going to raise you up a little bit. But not immediately. Not until you admit the truth. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, Venus is in your sign in the last decan, which is sub-ruled by the Mercury that rules Gemini. Gemini rules youth, and it rules easy transitional change, and it rules our neighborhoods, and it rules temporary or part-time efforts, which means you can do 2 of anything, because Gemini is also a double-bodied sign, just the way Pisces is, and Sagittarius is the 3rd double-bodied sign. So this is a time with Venus in your sign, Libra, almost perfectly trining Jupiter in Gemini. Venus is at 24 degrees, Jupiter is at 21 degrees of Gemini. And they're both trining the sign of Aquarius, the sign of the future. Pluto is no longer there, but by November, right before Thanksgiving, it is coming back into Aquarius, and it too will be trining that Jupiter in Gemini, because Jupiter is going to be in Gemini for a whole year. Venus is going to move out of your sign, and Pluto is going to move back into Aquarius. So it will be trining your sign, and so will Jupiter. And so I think, Libra, that you know, if you had some optimistic idea of what you want to do in the future, I would say, you know, quit kidding yourself. It could really happen. It really could happen. You can do it. If you need to take on new partners, or be a new partner, even on a part-time basis to somebody else, that would work out just fine, particularly right now. In fact, you shouldn't wait. You should just get out and be more social, which is a talent of a Libra. Libras are charming. Well, don't waste it all sitting at home, Libra. You need to get out and sort of mix and mingle with people, because you could pick up new partners. Or what I think, actually, Libra, is that some people are going to meet you and they're going to want you to be their partner. And I think you should do that. First of all, you have nothing to lose, because it'll lead you into the future. That's where you're going anyway, Libra. You know, you couldn't stay in the past if you wanted to. Want to know why? Because Mars is in Cancer, which rules endings, and it's squaring your sun. And Pluto is in Capricorn, which rules your 10th house of career, your public reputation, and your long-term security, and it's squaring your sun. And when Venus and Pluto square or oppose each other, it is a sign of a betrayal. Okay, so not everything's going to be perfect in your life right now, Libra, but the future is looking wonderful, and it's your future. And this is a lunar eclipse. And so, you know, this eclipse actually denotes not just one woman going and another woman coming, it could be 2. And at different times. Or it could be right now. It could all happen right now. Because it's such a powerful lunar eclipse. Because the moon is actually conjuncting the ruler of the sign. That doesn't happen that often. And Saturn is there as well, and they're all being backed up by Mars in Cancer. So there is going to be some unending somewhere in your life, Libra. And let me describe it as liberating. It's going to be very liberating. You won't miss it at all. Because there are better things ahead. And you know it. But you need to get out and just mix and mingle. Libra, somebody is going to give you an invitation that you cannot afford to refuse. So just say yes. Even if you don't quite know how you're going to do in it, say yes. It's going to lead you toward your future, and it looks to me like it's going to just be of benefit to you. Jupiter is a planet of benefit. It's going to be in Gemini trining your sun clear till next summer. You have nothing to lose by saying yes right now to other people's invitation to participate in things, and possibly two things. So I hope you do that, Libra. Don't stall. Don't give excuses. Don't say you can't. Well, yes, you can. And besides, you're going to meet wonderful people that will brighten up your world, and we could all use that. They'll make you feel better. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time, Scorpio, when you do benefit from the fact that there are 4 planets in the water signs, and they are all trining your sun sign. And the lunar eclipse, which is so powerful today because the full moon at 26 degrees of Pisces is conjuncting the ruler of the sign, Neptune, which is at the 29th degree of fate and retrograde in Pisces, and they're trining your sun along with Saturn. And then Mars in Cancer is trining your sun as well. Mars and Saturn are 2 malefic planets, and they're both trining your sun, Scorpio. They're not hurting you at all. They're going to give you some backbone. They're going to give you some energy. They're going to give you some drive. And I would say that if you're facing any challenge right now, Scorpio, you could do it with your eyes closed. It's going to be easier than you think. Scorpio rules discipline, and it rules the military, and it rules medicine, and it rules justice and survival. And Scorpios can survive anything, particularly with the help that they could be getting under this lunar eclipse right now. 4 planets are trining your sun. And this means that if there's any dissension among your family members, it's going to work out. It's going to work out either because they work it out or because you give them a little nudge to work it out. And they're the ones that have to do the work too. Mars is in Cancer. It rules the family. If you're making a move, okay, there's nothing fun about a move except you could really do it. It would sort of work like clockwork right now. Despite any kind of challenges, it's going to work. If there is something behind the scenes that you are seeing with fresh eyes right now, because there's so much light in Pisces right now, almost nobody can hide things anymore, because there's too much light in Pisces. Well, I don't think that's so bad, because we don't need to have people hiding things from us, or pretending to be something they're not, or being phonies, or making calculations for their own benefit behind the scenes, even when they're saying they're doing everything for you. We don't need stuff like that in our lives, particularly you, Scorpio. So your sign rules death, and it rules transformation and regeneration. Okay, particularly Pluto. That's what Pluto rules. Transformation and psychological change. And Pluto sextiles your sun. Your other ruler, Mars, trines your sun, and all 3 planets in Pisces under this magical, powerful lunar eclipse today, Saturn, the moon, and Neptune are also trining your sun. And so, Scorpio, whatever you really want in your heart, even if it is something that has been a dream for a long time, that you kept, even if you kept it in secrecy, it was there, and it's meant to be. After a very long delay, it can certainly be coming your way. And in a genuine way. If a dream didn't come true before, Scorpio, it might be because of some uncertainty or conditions that were inhibiting it from happening. And there's just nothing stopping it now. Nothing. Because the lights that are in Pisces are enabling everybody, including you, to see beyond the veil, to see the truth, to know the truth that, even if somebody's lying to you, you could know it was a lie. You could know it was a pretense. You could know if they were a phony. You could see their ulterior motives for saying something or doing something. But you can also see a dream that really could take shape now. And certainly can be coming your way. in a very genuine, true fashion after a very long delay. Sometimes it takes people a long time to see the real truth about their feelings and what they can live with and what they cannot live with. Life teaches us those lessons. You can't learn them out of a book. And so this is a time when whatever lessons life has been teaching you, Scorpio, you can see clearly. And the things that should be of a benefit to you, even if they have been long delayed, they're coming your way. And nobody behind the scenes can stop that anymore. It's going to happen. And so if you're making changes, as we all should be contemplating, 7 planets are at the end of their signs. There's going to be change, I guarantee you, in everybody's life. So if you are looking at change and you're deciding, oh, I better roll up my sleeves and get to work here, that's fine. Yours is a fixed sign. Fixed signs aren't afraid of hard work. And your sign rules discipline. So your sign also rules war. And I would say, if there was ever a time in your life when you wanted to win the war against deceit and dishonesty and things that were bad, maybe bad for you. Remember, Pisces rules escape through alcoholism, drug addiction, and sexual promiscuity. If you are able to say, okay, I've learned my lessons, and I want to make a dream come true, and stick with it for the rest of my life, that would involve survival, and yours is a sign of survival. You can do it. This is probably the best lunar eclipse that'll ever hit you. And the reason why is because the truth cannot be denied. That's why a precious dream that was meant to be and didn't happen can be coming your way now. And I would say that whoever the baton of responsibility is getting passed to, it might be you that's either receiving the baton or handing it to someone else. It's going to work out just fine. And it might be because you're changing the type of people that you can work with or that you feel comfortable with. We all change. And it can be that if you've been fighting a few battles in your life or a war that's been going on for a long time, maybe you're just tired of that. And boy, this is a golden opportunity to have those things change and end. And it can happen to you, Scorpio, because yours is the sign of survival. And boy, do you have 4 planets and water signs backing you up. So good luck. All right, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, there aren't any planets in your sign, but since yours is a mutable sign, there are 6 planets in a harsh T-crest that are all squaring and opposing your sun sign. Ooh, that could be a little hard to live with, but it's been happening before. And I think you're getting a little used. I think, Sagittarius, you're adjusting to things that you can't change. And so it might be that because there's so much indecision around, or differing opinions, or other people that are in conflict with each other, you may be deciding, since there aren't any planets in fire signs right now, just to withdraw right now and stay out of the fray. Well, why shouldn't you? That full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, with Saturn, the full moon, and Neptune all squaring your sun, combined with the sun and Mercury squaring your sun, and Jupiter, your own ruler in Gemini, opposing your sun signs, means that this is an absolutely excellent time for you to go home and close the door and just do what you know is right for you. So I'm suggesting, Sagittarius, that you tune out the rest of the world. It's going through change anyway, and it's change that nobody is going to be able to stop. So, I mean, don't spend your fine intellectual ability on either yesterday's news or things that are unresolved, and that, you know, you can have a heart of gold and want to help everybody else, and this is the time when you really should be helping yourself instead. Because there would be no argument with that. There wouldn't be people that you had to deal with that didn't know what they were doing anyway. That's why I'm saying go home, close the door, and live more for your own peace of mind. And a Sagittarius is not happy. Sagittarius always know a little bit more than anybody thinks because they keep up on the news. They follow it so closely, they know when there's a phony report and when there's a real fact or not. And because you do keep up on that rather keenly, and because your sign rules international affairs and the higher mind and international law, you could be really thinking deeply about some sort of universal problems. Your sign rules the courts as well. And if you withdrew and you just did some quiet, clear thinking right now, Sagittarius, I think it would be of tremendous benefit to you. It's just that when you have too many other influences that are all indecisive or quarreling or don't know what they're doing, it can be like a disease. And you could be like a sponge soaking up a whole bunch of things that don't have anything to do with your fine mind. And you need to tune everything out and just use the talent you've got. Sagittarius, use it on your own behalf too. Not anyone else's right now. That's not an act of selfishness. It's going to help you to clear your mind and to more clearly define your future ambitions. This is what you should be doing right now. You really have no choice. There's too many other planets out there that are not compatible with your sun sign, and your sun sign doesn't have any backup. But your fine mind keeps working. So go home, close the door, and let it do it. You're going to be the beneficiary of that. That will do you a lot of good, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you could say, the facts are adding up. Things are looking okay because Pluto has come back into your sign. It's retrograde at the 29th degree of fate in your sign, which means that you've got to be looking at business affairs or career matters or your long-term security or your public reputation very carefully. And you need to be reassessing it all. See, Pluto's retrograde. It's not going to stay in your sign. It's going back into Aquarius, for years. But it'll be in your sign until the middle of November. And so you need to really look, I would say, Capricorn, you need to look at who and what can go the distance with you. Because your sign rules old age, and it rules time, because that's what Saturn rules. Saturn is part of this lunar eclipse in Pisces today, because all the planets in Pisces, all three of them, Saturn, your own ruler, and the full moon, and Neptune in Pisces, all sextile your sun where you have Pluto. This is an absolutely excellent time for you to face the truth about anything, Capricorn, because not only is this powerful lunar eclipse sextiling your sun, but the sun and Mercury are trining your sun, and Uranus and Taurus is also trining your sun. Your sign has a tremendous amount of planetary backup right now. Okay, so there's still some things to look at. And it is that Mars in Cancer is opposing Pluto in your own sign, and Venus in Libra is squaring that. So there is some element of a betrayal. And oddly enough, Capricorn, it could be your own. You may be deciding now with so much planetary backup that you can see beyond the veil. You can see things that you've been kidding yourself about all your life. Or you could see people in your life that you've sort of been making them better than they are. Or you've wanted them to be better than they are. And you can see behind the scenes now and get a very clear assessment about just about anybody. And I can guarantee you that everybody, including you, Capricorn, is going to go through change because there's too many planets, particularly the one in your sign, Pluto, which are in the last degrees of their sign because it's at the 29th degree of fate, and they're all changing into other signs. And so it will go into Aquarius, where it will still sextile your sun. I look at that, Capricorn, as that you have an opportunity right now to sort of straighten out what you've been kidding yourself about or who you've been kidding yourself about. Okay, that's called facing the truth. And at the same time, you're going to be able to see how very truthfully where you are in your life right now and what you want to do in your future. And believe it or not, as you get more settled in your future plans, you are going to be amazed at how much more powerful you become in the future, which you will. Pluto will go into Aquarius and it rules the future, and it will continue to sextile your sun for years. And it's, when it does that, it's going to be going forward. And so, since it's going to be right ahead of your sun sign, you're going to be able to see, even if you're still moving at the same speed, Capricorn. Capricorns like to just take one step at a time. You're going to move powerfully into a better future. Okay, I didn't say it would be fast. You don't care. You're going to live a long time. It will just be one step at a time. But that's the future that planet. It's going to leave your sign and go into the future. And in some way, Capricorn, you're going to have to do a little rethinking about what you've been kidding yourself about, or what you used to do yesterday that doesn't fit in your life today. That's fine too. That's called a reassessment. That's okay. And then you're going to be able to hone in on, okay, what is my truth? What do I want to do in my future? What will make me happy? What are the rewards? How can I be fulfilled? That's a good question to be asking yourself right now, Capricorn, because when Pluto goes into Aquarius right ahead of your sun sign, that is the direction you're going in, to the future, not the past. And we're all going to change or go through change because 7 planets are doing that. Some change will be immediate, and some changes will take longer. I don't think the time element's going to bother you, Capricorn. It's the direction. And I'm just telling you, think about heading in a direction that will make you feel more accomplished yourself, more powerful yourself, more truthful to your own values. And do that for the rest of your life. It will make you very happy, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, there are not as many planets in the fixed signs creating problems right now. In fact, Pluto has left your sign. It's retrograded back into Capricorn. It's right behind your sun sign right now, which means that you have to go back and sort of evaluate your career and the benefits of it and the drawbacks of it as well, both of them, since that planet is retrograde. And you might be deciding to change your career or to step into a different direction in your career, and you could be thinking about that seriously right now, Aquarius. And why? Because your sign is getting trined by the 2 best planets in the heavens, and your sign rules the future. So definitely you're headed into the future. Well, you're going to get a lot of help with that right now. First of all, the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces is right ahead of your sun sign. That's a lot of light in a sign right ahead of yours, Aquarius. You are going to have to quit kidding yourself about some things, simply because you're going to see the truth staring right at you. There will be no ability to kid yourself or deny it either. It'll be there. Full moon, a lot of light. A lot of light on things that have been hidden behind the scenes. A lot of light on people who are perhaps not what they advertise, not what they seem to be. Phonies. You'll see all that. Well, I think that can be enlightening, Aquarius, because you've got Venus in Libra at 24 degrees trining your sign, and that is almost in perfect trine to Jupiter in Gemini at 21 degrees, and it is also trining your sun. You're heading into a much better partnership or a good legal deal that will work out in your favor. And it will be one of the main reasons it'll work out in your favor is people like you. And these could be new people. They like you. They like you just the way you are. And they admire you. One thing that Aquarians have throughout their whole lives, this never changes in an Aquarian. Whether you're 5 years old or 55 years old, you got the same talent. And it is that all Aquarians can see into the future. They have imagination. They just look at things and they see them in a completely different way than anybody else sees them. Your sign rules invention. If you've always had an idea to invent something, Aquarius, what's stopping you? You can do it. You can do it with better partners, and you can do it in a way that may start out part-time, but it would necessitate some sort of easy transitional change within the next year that is going to be just right for you. And there's only one planet, your own ruler, in a fixed sign, and it's Uranus squaring your sun sign. It's only going to do that for 1 more year. And then it'll go into Gemini, training your sign for 7 years. So don't look back, Aquarius, and don't kid yourself anymore about anything or anybody. There's too much light in Pisces today, right ahead of your sun sign. Just take a look at the way people really are, or the way conditions really are in your life. And particularly take a real hard look at where you are. Because if you spend a little extra time on that right now, Aquarius, you may be pleasantly surprised that you're doing okay. Maybe better than okay. And the new people that are coming into your life, they're going to be a whole lot better than the old people. So you have no reason not to go forward right now, Aquarius. Keep at it. And if there is a long delayed dream that is meant to be, it could be coming true a little sooner than you think. It may have already started to come true. So that is why you got to be looking forward, not backward. Don't look backward one more minute of your life. Don't do that, Aquarius. You don't need to. The future is definitely calling you. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, the full moon today, which is a lunar eclipse, is in your sign. And I would say, Pisces, you are being blessed with outstanding vision right now. You can just look at anybody or any situation, whether past, present, or future, and you can see it so clearly. It's amazing. And that extends sort of beyond you, Pisces. It extends to your family life, because Mars in Cancer is trining Saturn in your sign, and the full moon, which is conjuncting Neptune, your own ruler. If ever there was a time for you to make a fond dream come true, it's today. It's right now. You can't lose. It's going to happen. Even if you were kidding yourself for years, or even if you were just keeping it on the back burner, never really doing anything about it, it's going to happen. And it's today. It's going forward. But if the baton of responsibility is being passed to someone else, that person is not a person who likes a lot of fanfare. They're not doing their job, even if they're doing it very well, which I have a feeling they're pretty good at what they do, and that could be you, Pisces. You could be pretty good at what you do. Still, there's a reason that involves compassion and understanding for others. That's the motivating force behind whoever the baton of responsibility is getting passed to. And it might be you, Pisces, but yours is a double-bodied sign. At the same time, you may be turning around and passing a baton of responsibility of your own to someone else. And it's going to work. Both ways, it's going to work. And what's going to make it work? That little Mars that's over there in Cancer, trining your sun, Pisces. Mars rules work. It's an energizing planet. Okay, it's in Cancer, the sign of the home, the family, and moving. You may be moving, or someone else could be moving. And it can be that family members have to adjust to some sort of very beneficial change that can be coming your way. I don't think it's coming your way. I think it's there, Pisces. You know, it's not off in the future. It's right now. And in your heart, you know it. And remember, it involves something that was meant to be and that had been a long time coming. Okay? So I don't think it's going to be a surprise to you in any way, because you have been thinking about it or involved with it or secretly yearning for it for a long time. Even if you never told anybody, it's been in your heart. And it's like that's what you're coming home to now, Pisces. You're coming home to the truth that's been in your heart. And even if you were too busy to notice it, or you wanted to deny it in some way, or your life was in a certain position where, you couldn't do anything about it, that's ended. Truly ended. And now what you're looking at is something that was meant to be, that has been a long time coming. And it could involve a change in your life, for sure, even a move, which is going to, it might be hard work, but it's going to work. It's going to work real well. Mars is trining your sun. It's going to involve a matter of justice and survival. And it could be your survival, Pisces. Because in a way, when you deny the truth of your heart, you're living a lie. And that's no way to end. We have to go forward and admit who and what we really love and do something about it. But I would say it's sort of coming to you, and I think you're coming to it. And going to be a pretty happy meeting when it happens. And I think it's really there right now, Pisces. It's not tomorrow, but it's also not yesterday. It's now. And that's why the baton of responsibility can be passed to you to take responsibility for the truth that's in your heart. And that baton of responsibility involves someone else as they admit the truth in their heart. And you and this person are not alike, okay? This person is sort of an angel that just has understanding and compassion for others and does their work without fanfare. Okay, they're not out for the bright lights. They're not out for the publicity. They're there to do their best. And you care about them. And they care about you. And even if there is any kind of change in the family in any way, or in a new home, or going back to an old home of yours, it's going to make you feel a whole lot better. And whoever you're taking with you is going to feel great too. That'll be all right. But it's because the dream has been such a long time coming, it does not involve anybody that has been in your past life, or perhaps even in your current life. Might be somebody in your current life, but for sure it's somebody that's been in your heart a long time. That much I know. So good luck, Pisces. Stop kidding yourself about everything except what would really make you happy and who you want to share that with. And it's got to be somebody who is honest and true. Someone who is an angel. In a way, the way that they think about how they conduct their life, and sort of in a helpful way, and without fanfare, and even in solitude. Pisces, in a way, it means they're always going to be there for you, because they want to be. You are very important to them, and you're not a dream. And so this isn't a time for you to be fooling around with dreams, Pisces. This is the time to make them reality. And that means you have to look deeply into your heart and be honest with yourself. And nobody can escape change right now. Not with 7 planets all about to do that. So good luck and congratulations. This is one of the best lunar eclipses that will ever happen to anybody. And the reason why is that Pisces rules things that are hidden behind the scenes, and there's so much light there that a whole lot of things can't be hidden anymore. And we have to admit the truth. It's there. In clear light. And so that's what you've got to do, Pisces. Do not kid yourself for one more second, because all you're doing is delaying the happiness you have desired for so long. Don't do that. Just, Your happiness is awaiting you, and so is an angel that will never leave you. And they're not like the people that you've been with before. So don't repeat the past, Pisces. It's not going to do you any good. Just go forward. You'll do great. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm sorry this was a little bit long, but this is a fabulous full moon lunar eclipse. It will have a far-reaching effect on a lot of people because there's so much light in Pisces. It will help us all face the truth, particularly about how we feel, because it's in a water sign, and there is 4 planets in water signs trining each other. So this is a good time to just say, how do I feel? What would make me feel better in the future? And go for it. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for the new subscribers. I hope you like the show and you tell your friends about that. And it is listed under Karen Campbell on YouTube. So until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.